शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। स्वरूपानुसन्धानं श्लोक 2। दयालुं गुरुं ब्रह्मनिष्ठं प्रशान्तं समाराध्य भक्त्या विचार्य स्वरूपं यदाप्नोति तत्त्वं निदिध्यास्य विद्वान् परं ब्रह्म नित्यन्तदेवाहमस्मि। We have seen the qualities of a guru. Now this Jijnasu, this Mumukshu has to approach a guru. As the Upanishad says, tad vijnanartham sa gurumevabhigachet samitpanish shrotriyam brahmanishtham. Mundakopanishad. Tad vijnanartham, to understand the Brahman, sa gurumevabhigachet, saha mumukshu, the mumukshu, the jijnasu, gurum eva abhigachet. He should go to a guru only. There is no other way. Without guru, one cannot get jnana. Therefore, gurum eva. There is an eva. Abhigachet. One should approach. And how one should approach? Samitpanihi. Carrying samit, firewood in hand. Firewood, samit, indicates a suitable offering to the Guru. Guroho anurupam upayanam. An offering suitable to the Guru. Because one should not approach a Guru empty-handed. Riktapanirna seveta rajanam daivatam gurum. So, samitpanihi shrotriyam brahmanishtham. So, this mumukshu approaches a guru . Then what should a Shishya do? When you accept a Guru, as a Guru, you become Shishya. What should a Shishya do? The author says, Bhaktya Samaradhya. Second quarter of the shloka. Bhaktya Samaradhya. Worshipping the Guru with the bhakti. The author talks about the attitude desirable in a Shishya towards his Guru. The attitude of bhakti. In Shvetashvatara we have seen, some of you were there when we did see Shvetashvatara. The last and final mantra of Shvetashvatara. Yasya deve para bhaktihi yatha deve tatha gurau tasyaite kathita hyarthaha prakashante mahatmanaha. Yasya deve para bhaktihi. A seeker who has great devotion to Deva, great devotion to Bhagavan, yatha deve tatha gurau, and he has the same amount of devotion to the Guru also. That means he sees Ishvara in the Guru. He looks upon the Guru as Ishvara himself. The manifestation of Ishvara. There is a popular doha of Kabir. Guru Govind dou khade kake lagu pai. Guru and Govinda both are standing in front of me. Who will I prostrate first? Who will I do namaskara first? Kabir says, I will do namaskara to the Guru. My first namaskara will be to the Guru, because it is the Guru, because of who I can understand the Ishvara. Therefore, this is the attitude of a Shishya. Yatha deve tatha gurau. Tasyaite kathita hyarthaha prakashante mahatmanaha. So that kind of a Shishya is a Mahatma. It is not a joke to be a good Shishya. A true Shishya is a Mahatma. Tasya Mahatmanaha. Shvetashvatara calls a true Shishya as a Mahatma. It is easy to be a Guru nowadays. You start bluffing, you become a Guru. But it is not easy to become a proper Shishya. Tasya Mahatmanaha ete kathita arthaha prakashante. To such a Mahatma, a proper Shishya, the words of the Guru make sense. The words of the Guru unfold to him. their meanings. Therefore, bhaktya, with the devotion to the Guru, samaradhya, do samaradhanam. Samaradhanam is worship. Upasanam. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, Krishna talks about 20 requirements, 20 sadhanas for jnana. Amanitvam, adamhitvam, etc. And one of them is acharyopasanam, shaucham, sthairyam vinigraha. Worshipping the acharya. We have a tradition of doing puja to the Guru, mainly on Guru Purnima day. You might have seen. We do puja to the Guru. Even now in India, when a sannyasi enters the house, when a Guru enters the house, what they first do is the Pada Puja. They will wash his feet and they will worship his feet. That is one way of symbolic worship. But that is not all. Samaradhya includes something more. Not just doing Pada Puja once in a while. Then what does it mean? In chapter 4 of Bhagavad Gita, Upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Among these three, pranipata, pariprashna and seva, we can take two of them. Pranipata and seva as the meaning of samaradhya. Pranipatena. Pranipata means namaskar. Sashtanga namaskar. Prakarshena nichaihi patanam. Pranipataha. Doing namaskara to the Guru. It is a gesture of total surrender. The Shishya does namaskara to the Guru. Even the gesture is very important. Because our attitude is conveyed through the gesture. And the gesture also enhances the attitude. The gesture enhances the attitude. You can train your children to do namaskara. Initially it's just physical, but slowly they learn the attitude. Therefore, we should not ignore the gestures also. They have significance. So, pranipata and seva, service to the Guru, sevaya, doing seva to the Guru. Even seva has there are many results of seva. Number one, seva gives a chitta shuddhi. If you do seva to the Guru, you get chitta shuddhi. And then the mind becomes ready for jnana. This is the first and foremost importance of seva. And number two, seva communicates your earnestness to the Guru. When the Guru sees that you are doing seva, the Guru understands your earnestness, your sincerity. And number three, the seva makes the Guru's life easy. And the Guru gets a time to prepare himself for teaching. Otherwise, if the Guru doesn't have anyone to serve him, the Guru doesn't have anyone to take care of his needs, the Guru will have to struggle for his life, struggle to conduct his life. And if he has to struggle to conduct his life, he won't have time to teach. Therefore, seva enables the Guru to devote his time for studying and teaching the Shastra. Therefore, sevaya, do seva to the Guru. Now, who is the Guru? For some people, someone else is Guru. Someone who I have not seen is my Guru. And this person who is teaching is not my Guru. There are some people who think so. Ramana Maharshi is my guru. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa is my guru. Some Baba sitting quiet in Himalaya is my guru. This person who is teaching, he is not my guru. This attitude will not work, because the person who is teaching, if he is not your guru, if you do not accept him as your guru, you are wasting your time, because his words will not give you jnana. In fact, the very definition of the word guru is grinati upadishati iti guru. Grinati upadishati atmatattvam iti guru. The person who is teaching Atma Tattva, the person who is teaching Vedanta, is the guru. Please put off your microphones, please. Therefore, Gurum Samaradhya, worshipping the Guru through pranipata and seva, vicharya swarupam. Do not stop there. Do not stop at doing seva. Do vichara. Vicharya swarupam. As I have quoted from the chapter 4, Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Pranipata and seva are mentioned by the word samaradhya. And then there is something pariprashna. Pariprashna is vichara. Inquiry. In fact, in Upanishads, there are statements. Tad vijijnasasva tad brahmeti. Taittiriya Upanishad, Bhriguvalli, there is a statement. Tad vijijnasasva tad brahmeti. Brahma vijijnasasva. Do Brahma jijnasa. And based on this, Badarayana forms his first sutra, composes his first sutra. Athato Brahma jijnasa. Athato Brahma jijnasa. It is the first sutra of the Brahma Sutras. The word used here is jijnasa. But then Shankaracharya says, Here, Jijnasa implies vichara. Because Jijnasa leads to vichara. The word Jijnasa does not really mean vichara. Because Jijnasa is Jnatum Ichha Jijnasa. Please listen carefully. The word Jijnasa means Jnatum Ichha Jijnasa. The desire to know is called Jijnasa. And this Jijnasa cannot be done. You cannot do Jijnasa. Because a desire is not done. A desire happens. Any desire. It has to happen. It cannot be done. I don't say I am doing desire. I am doing desire to have chapati. I am doing desire to have idli. I cannot say. Jijnasa is not done. But nowadays people use such expressions, especially in some Indian languages. Jigyasha korun. In Bengali, they will say Jigyasha korun. Jigyasha korun means do Jijnasa. In Hindi also sometimes you may hear जिज्ञासा करते हैं. हम जिज्ञासा करते हैं. बट जिज्ञासा कर नहीं सकते. जिज्ञासा इज अ डिजायर. ज्ञातुम इच्छा जिज्ञासा. Then how can you say do Jijnasa? The Upanishad says do Jijnasa. Then Shankaracharya solves this problem. He says, in this context, Jijnasa should be understood as vichara. Jijnasa padasya vichare lakshana. So how do you understand the meaning vichara from Jijnasa? Because Jijnasa leads to vichara. If I have a desire to know something, I will inquire. My desire to know leads to an inquiry. Desire to know leads to inquiry. Jijnasa leads to vichara. Therefore, Jijnasa, do Jijnasa should be understood as do vichara. Vicharaha kartavyaha. Do vichara. In the Bhriguvalli of Taittiriya Upanishad, Bhrigu tells his son, Varuna tells his son, Varuna is the father and Bhrigu is the son. Bhrigu approaches his father and asks, Adhihi Bhagavo Brahmeti, please teach me Brahman. Then Varuna tells him, Tad vijijnasasva tad brahmeti. Do jijnasa. So jijnasa in this context means vichara. So jijnasa leads to vichara. If you are a jijnasu, you will start doing vichara. Until this person becomes a jijnasu, he doesn't start doing vichara. So vicharya swarupam. Swarupam vicharya. Inquiring into the swarupa. Yeah. Inquiring into the swarupa. So what is vichara? What is inquiry? Even the inquiry, the nature of inquiry is properly understood in the tradition. You cannot just sit under a tree and say, who am I, who am I, who am I? It won't work. Sitting under a tree and saying, who am I, will not give the answer. You can try. We have a proper way, proper method of inquiry. And the inquiry should be done with the help of a guru. Not independently. The guru has to lead through the inquiry. Vichara. And the vichara includes two things. Shravanam and Mananam. Shrotavyo mantavyo nididhyasitavya. According to Brihadaranyaka, the process of getting jnana, the process of getting Brahmajnana involves three disciplines. Shravana, Manana and Nididhyasana. Shrotavyo mantavyo nididhyasitavyaha. Shravana, Manana and Nididhyasana. Among these three, vichara includes Shravana and Manana. So the vichara has two disciplines, two stages rather. Shravana and Manana. What is Shravana? The literal meaning of the word Shravana is listening. Sunna. So do Shravana. Just open the YouTube channel, and there are many talks available in the YouTube channel. So many spiritual talks. You put on them, any channel, any speaker allowed, and do cooking, do washing, play chess, do whatever you like. It is not Shravana. A casual listening is not Shravana. Once in a while you listen to one Swami. After some time you get fed up with that Swami, you go to another Swami. Because nowadays so many things are available in the YouTube. In a way it is good. Because as a casual introduction, it is easy to get a casual introduction to Vedanta. Through YouTube, through Wikipedia, Google articles, so many things are available. As a casual introduction to Vedanta, the internet is a blessing. Because in olden days, people wouldn't know what is Vedanta. But now it is easy to get an introduction. There is something called Vedanta, and this is Vedanta. You get a casual introduction. But after that stage, a casual listening in the YouTube doesn't serve any purpose. It remains just superficial. It doesn't serve much purpose. A casual listening in the YouTube or Google Meet or anywhere, any platform, it cannot give Brahmajnana. It cannot open the eyes. It cannot open the Jnana Chakshu. If you need to open your Jnana Chakshu, if you want to open your eyes of knowledge, you need to do vichara, proper Shravana and proper Manana. What is Shravana? Let's come back to the question. What is Shravana? There is a technical definition of Shravana given by the Acharyas. Shravana means Vedantasya Advitiye Brahmani Tatparyavadharanam. Vedantasya Tatparyavadharanam. Ascertaining the Tatparya of Vedanta. Ascertaining the Tatparya of Vedanta is called Shravana. Tatparya means the purport, the central teaching of Vedanta Shastra. What is the central teaching of Vedanta Shastra? It is Jiva Brahma Aikyam, oneness of Jiva and Brahman. Non-difference between Jiva and Brahman. Jiva Brahmanoho Aikyam is the Tatparya. It is conveyed by the Mahavakya. Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi. There are many Mahavakyas. We pick one for our convenience. Tattvamasi. You are Brahman. Jiva Brahmanoho Abhedaha. This is the Tatparya of Vedanta. When you hear this, there is a possibility of a question. A question can arise in some people's minds. You are saying Jiva Brahmanoho Abhedaha is the Tatparyam. The oneness of Jiva and Brahman is the Tatparya. But someone else says something else. There are other people teaching Vedanta. According to them, the Tatparya is different. According to them, the Vedanta doesn't teach Advaita. Some other speaker says Vedanta teaches Dvaita. You are Jiva, Brahman is different. According to another person, Vedanta teaches something else. You are a part of Brahman. Vishishtadvaita. And another person, he tries to reconcile everything. Reconcile everything. And he says, Vedanta talks about Advaita also. Vedanta talks about Dvaita also. Vedanta talks about Vishishtadvaita also. It is another teaching. Harmony, reconciliation. And then there are some new people, modern people. They say Vedanta teaches management. Vedanta teaches management. This is another school. So there are so many speakers. And this person has already listened to so many speakers, because in YouTube all are available. YouTube or Netflix, I don't know where, what all channels. So, now this gentleman has a question. According to you, Vedanta teaches Jiva Brahma Aikya. According to some other people, Vedanta teaches something else. Then how do you establish that Jiva Brahma Aikya is the Tatparya? How can I convince myself that Jiva Brahma Aikya is the Tatparya? Jiva Brahmanoho Aikye Vedantanam Tatparyam va Anyatra va. This is his doubt. Whether the Tatparya of Vedanta is a Jiva Brahma Aikya or is it something else? Such a doubt is called Pramana Shanka. This doubt is called Pramana Shanka. Vedanta is Pramana. And you are doubting about, you have a doubt about the purport of the Vedanta Pramana. What the Vedanta Pramana conveys. About this I am not clear. This is called Pramana Shanka. I hope you understand Pramana Shanka. Should I explain once again? Anybody who Pramana Shanka is not clear? Okay, good. Yeah. I will ask later on what is Pramana Shanka. All of you can write an essay on Pramana Shanka. So this Pramana Shanka has to be addressed. The Guru has to address Pramana Shanka. And to address Pramana Shanka, the Guru uses certain tools. We have a discipline of knowledge called Mimamsa Shastra. Mimamsa Shastra. Mimamsa Shastra deals with analyzing the Vedic text, analyzing the Vedic statements. So we make use of the tools of Mimamsa Shastra and we show how Jiva Brahma Aikya alone, Advaita alone is the Tatparya of Vedanta Shastra. We have a tool. I am not going to open my toolkit now. It will be too much. We have tools. So using the tools of Mimamsa, we solve Pramana Shanka and ascertain that the purport of Vedanta is Jiva Brahma Aikyam. So this process of ascertaining the Pramana, ascertaining the Tatparya of Vedanta, using the toolkit of Mimamsa is called Shravanam. Vedantasya Jiva Brahma Aikye Tatparyavadharanam Shravanam. Shravanam is the process of establishing the purport of Vedanta in Jiva Brahma Aikya. And this Shravanam removes one form of doubt, one form of Shanka called Pramana Shanka. Shravanena Pramana Shanka Nivrittihi. Now you understand what is Shravanam. Shravanam is not just a sunnah, not just listening. It is ascertaining the purport of Vedanta. This is what Vedanta has to say. The message of Vedanta has to be clear, without any vagueness. A few years back, I was teaching a lady. And she was attending my sessions almost every day, continuously. None of you. She is not here now. That's why I can talk about her. She is not listening. And I don't think she will listen also. That's why I can speak about her without any hesitation. So this lady was listening to me continuously. And I was teaching Bhagavad Gita with the Shankara Bhashya. After listening to me for almost an hour, she was traveling somewhere. And she was in conversation with one of her friends. And then her friend, another lady who also was learning some Vedanta, she told this lady that Bhagavad Gita teaches Advaita, teaches Dvaita, teaches Vishishtadvaita, and so on and so forth. Then this lady, who had been listening to me, who has done Shravana from me, she said with conviction, Bhagavad Gita does not teach Dvaita. Bhagavad Gita does not teach Vishishtadvaita. Bhagavad Gita teaches only Advaita. This was her conviction. This was her clarity. And how did she get it? Because she did Shravana. Proper Shravana. From one Acharya. The proper text. That is why how she could understand with the clarity. So this is Pramana Shanka Nivritti. Her vagueness about the central teaching of Vedanta was clear. There was no room for vagueness. There was no room for doubt about what Vedanta is teaching, about what is the purport of Vedanta. So if it is clear to you If the central teaching of Vedanta is clear to you, you are sure what Vedanta has to say, then you have done Shravana effectively. So that is about Shravana. What is Manana? We will discuss in the next session. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.